everyone, it's Tawny. I feel extremely puffy in the sweatshirt, so excuse me if I'm over here like adjusting myself because I feel kind of like weird. I have some new makeup I want to try out. It's some stuff I've kind of been putting off because I've had so much new makeup. So I kind of want to just sit down and do it with you guys and talk while we kind of like go through all of this. So a new makeup get ready with me. Let's just go that far. I love get ready with me's, especially when like you get down to like the nitty gritty stuff, because I love like talking about makeup, talking about personal things while putting on makeup. It's like having a best friend right there while you're putting on your makeup. Because like I've never been the type of person to like call a best friend and FaceTime while we're like getting ready or something. Never really had friends that are into that sort of thing. So I've just never really done it. I wouldn't mind it because it's like totally my style of like things, you know. But I will be that best friend for you and you can be that best friend for me, even though I can't see you and I have no idea what you look like. I have a bunch of new makeup today. I have some new makeup that I'm gonna save for a separate video just because it's special to like that launch. And I'll get into that, like, you'll find out what that is when the video gets released. That's how I'm gonna put it as. So some of the makeup's gonna be new, some of the makeup's not gonna be so new, but it's fairly new for the most part. I'm going in with the NYX Marshmallow Primer. Haven't used this one in a while because I've been using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with the niacinamide stuff in it, and I really like that one. I really like the like regular Power Grip Primer, but I like the like niacinamide effect that it can give, so I've been using that one a lot. But I really do like this primer, and I feel like, why not use it today? We're going to be doing our makeup style just a little bit differently today because of what I'm going to be putting on and testing out, but it shouldn't really like look too much different on the face. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so instead of foundation, we are going to be putting on concealer because the foundation we're going to be using is the Maybelline Superstay up to 24-hour hybrid powder foundation. I don't know why I said hybrid powder foundation. It's just call it a powder foundation. Like, I don't know why it has to be like a hybrid because it's not like, whatever. I don't know. But I have the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Concealer that I'm going to be testing out today. I have it in the shade Fair to Light. I think they only had Fair to Light and Light to Medium at my CVS. What? How is this? Oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever. I really thought it was going to be like the Maybelline concealer where you like twist and twist and twist and then it pops up in the little sponge and then you have to use a sponge. When I first got that concealer from Maybelline, I actually cut the sponge off because I saw a video where a girl had done that. I think it might have been Laura Lee back in like 2016 or 17 when like I was into all of that stuff. And I hated the way that it came out of the application. I hated the way it looked. So I threw it away and I went and bought a new one because I was like so mad at myself for buying into like just a trend that was just like a one-time thing. Because you know Laura Lee had the money at that point with all the sponsorships and ads she had that like she could afford to get a new one or already had a new one on backup, that this was just one she could just trash. But like I did it from like step one because I didn't like the sponge. And then I was like, well, I think the sponge might make it better. That's not my favorite concealer by any means. So I don't know. I'm not totally sure how this is going to work. I haven't really heard anybody try it out. I really like the packaging. It does smell like the coconutty, like butter bronzer type smell. And I hate that smell, to be honest with you. It is not a smell I am like real in love with, if you say. Like, I don't like the smell of coconut like at all. This line is not for me, and I wish I could be one of those people that was like obsessed with it, but I'm not. So it's coming out very yellow, and I do typically sometimes get things yellow, but for the most part I go things more like on the pink side, like with like a pink undertone. But we're going to put this on, and if we have to, I'm going to put one that's a little bit brighter on over top of it just to kind of like balance it out. Because the only thing, I'm going to use this on like a couple spots, and then if I hate it, I'm going to go in my beauty blender. But I want to see how this applicator works here on this actual like packaging. It's not wet or anything, but it's like a very squishy sponge, I guess. But I feel like this type of application is hard to judge when you're putting any kind of foundation on top of it, whether it be liquid or powder, because you just never know. Like, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be covered, but at the same time, you almost like, I don't know, it's hard because then you want to be able to see the stuff through that foundation, that the foundation almost has to be light coverage and like, I don't know. I'm kind of doubting it, but we'll see. I don't know. I've used the L'Oreal foundation and I actually didn't mind it. So I think this one should be okay. And I've heard really good things about it. So I'm like really looking forward to testing this out. This sponge isn't bad and it's nice for like small area application. Like if I was like to touch up little blemishes, this would be like the greatest like applicator to do that. And I feel like this might be closer to like my skin tone color to actually touch up imperfections and stuff, because you always want to go one that like matches your skin color, not one that like is a little too bright, because then it's just gonna like amplify those imperfections instead of covering them up the way they're supposed to. Had to take a water break there. Trying to get my water intake going up. I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty football sponge. I'm just going to finish out the rest of the face. I feel like the sponge from the concealer was good, but I don't feel like it's going to take forever, and I just don't want to have to deal with that. So we're going to go in with the sponge. I have been trying to up my water intake. I've been working with a like health coach sort of thing. If you've been following me here on YouTube, you know, I've been doing that since about December. Like right before Christmas, I started working with this girl, and she had told me that for somebody my age and roughly like, I just kind of gave her an estimate of my weight because I don't actually know how much I weigh and I kind of don't want to know. She said I should be drinking about 2 to 3 like bottles like of my size water bottle, which I found out my size water bottle I think is either 24 or 32 ounce. Like it's pretty big. And because at the time we didn't really know what the size of it was. Ew. And she had said that I should be drinking like almost 100 ounces of water every day. There's like a calculator you can look up on Google. I think that's what she did. And I was supposed to be drinking like 100 ounces of water daily, which she said would probably be like 3 of these, because that was, she like with our math or whatever, I forget how we did it. It would basically be like 80 or 90 ounces for 3 of these. And that was a goal I had set for myself, like beginning of February, maybe late January. And the more I talk to her, the more I'm like, listen, this is not happening for me. Like, I just don't see myself being able to drink that much water every day. And I was like, sometimes I'm just not thirsty. And like, it's hard to force myself to drink the water when I feel like, I don't feel like waterlogged. Like I don't feel the water like sloshing around in my stomach, but I definitely feel like I'm just like, I'm not really thirsty. Like I can't force myself to drink the water. The concealer looks really good, actually. I actually really like this concealer. I'm not gonna lie. I think it looks really nice under my under eyes, and I think it's very good at like neutralizing. Maybe I should be looking into more yellow-based products, but I really like the way that it kind of like canceled out my under eyes, because I've been having really bad sleep problems this week where like I go to bed late, I wake up early, I struggle to wake up in the mornings. That's kind of my biggest problem, is like I can go to sleep at night, but I am one that plays on my phone in bed. So, but I feel like this kind of helped with that. So I really like the way this looks. I really didn't have any faith in that, but I really like the way it looked. So for contour, I have the Milani Liquid Contour Conceal and Perfect in the shade Honey. I've heard people say it's kind of comparable to the Charlotte Tilbury contour thing. I don't know. I don't really have Charlotte Tilbury. I don't think I own anything Charlotte Tilbury because I'm a little too poor for that. And I've never thought to look into it with the money that I can like sometimes use on her things. But I've heard this is pretty good, and I've been wanting to try out some new like liquid cream products. So I figure let's go ahead and try this and see what happens. But so I'm trying to drink more water, like especially in the evenings. That was kind of something that my health coach recommended, that like, I told her, I was like, I drink a lot at work and then I come home and I'm like, I want something else. And she's like, well, your day doesn't end just at 5 o'clock when you get off of work. Your day keeps going. And I was like, you know, that's true. She does have a point. Like, I need to like remind myself of that, like remember that and try and keep up with that. And I've been really good about that lately, about remembering that like, I do need to drink water at home, even if it's just like 1 glass. So I've been trying to at least drink water like with dinner, so maybe it helps like suppress some of my like appetite, so I don't end up eating like 10 plates and everything I've made for dinner whenever I like wanted to save some for leftovers. I've told her that like my goal wasn't to lose weight, it was to more just be like feel better in my body. But technically, I am trying to lose a little bit of weight just so I can, like, I feel like that will make me feel better in my body. And I was like, I want to see a difference. Otherwise, I'm just going to feel like this was all for nothing. And she's like, well, it's not, because you're like doing things for your health and like trying to improve yourself and trying to change your like your lifestyle so that you can be healthier. And she's like, that's not something that should be like just ignored or pushed away. And I was like, you're right. It's like, I feel like I'm just like overly emotional and I'm just like taking it hard. I don't hate the way I hate contouring under my like chin, because I feel like whenever it like does this, there's just like a line of brown. And like, I don't have one of those like perfect jaw lines. Like from here, when I lift up a little bit, it's like not terrible, but like, that's kind of one of my like insecurities. Like the more I've gotten into makeup and kind of like notice things, the more I'm a little like, I don't really like the way this looks. Like, I don't like this area of my face. Like sometimes I like cut that part out because I don't really want to like focus on it. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Like she had said like, don't give up, keep trying with it, keep pushing. Don't let this like weigh you down and like wear you out. So I'm like really trying to focus on that and kind of keep my spirits high while I'm going through all of this. That's kind of the biggest thing. I've been trying to work out more, and I went on a walk with my mom, my sister, and our two dogs. Well, my sister and my mom's dog, which technically like they're my dogs too. Like I'm favorite Aunt Tawney and favorite big sister Tawney to both dogs, because the one my mom always jokes is our brother, and then the other is my sister's dog. So I would be like, funny. I'm Fun Aunt Tawney. That's what I am. Fun Aunt Tawney. And I'm like the one that gets all the toys. I invite him over for parties. We give him treats. Like it's a whole big thing. I'm not totally sure how I'm supposed to be doing my makeup to go underneath this powder. So we may be botching this whole thing, but we're trying it. And that's something, because I don't do this quite often. I know a lot of people who like will do this underneath liquid foundation, and I'm a very full coverage foundation type person. So I feel like this would just end up getting like completely covered up and you're just putting on more makeup than necessary. And I also don't really do cream products too often. So this is something that's like very new for me. So technically new technique, new makeup, new try on thing. But I really like this contour. I think so far things are starting off really well. I think the contour is like a really nice shade for me. I found that like more yellowy based bronzers and contours look really good on me because they look very natural and they don't look quite as like forced. It's more of like, oh, you naturally look that way, not like, ooh, like you're wearing some makeup. It's pretty obvious. Now we're going to go in with the Milani Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush Highlight in the shade Luminoso. I saw that they came out with like a whole range of like Luminoso products. Like they had an eyeshadow palette and they had this. I think there might have been like a lipstick or something that went with it. I do have to say though, I was pretty disappointed. The eyeshadow palette, I believe, was either a 9 or 12 pan like shade palette, but I'm going to compare with like a ColourPop one. The circles were like, they were like super tiny. Like they were like the tip of my pinky inside of like that. They were like severely small. And I was just like, that's a little like, I don't feel like you're getting ripped off, but at the same time, I'm just like, that doesn't, like, I feel like that's not okay. So I did not get it. I kind of thought about it, but I was like, you know what? I have plenty of pink shade, like pink eyeshadow palettes, pink shadows. I don't really need a palette, especially one that like doesn't make me like, oh my gosh, like Luminoso was never a shade that I was like overly excited for. And I kind of feel like when they're like overly doing it with the Luminoso things, like they're making so much like of a range out of it that it's kind of becoming what NARS Orgasm was, which this is basically like the dupe for that, where they like can't let it go. And that's like all they do. It's just NARS Orgasm, like lipsticks and lip oils and blushes. And like they had like the mega blush and the mini blush. And like it was just all so much. And it's just like, it's just one shade. I know it's nice, but like why? I don't get it. So we're going to go ahead and put this, I think I'm going to stamp it like right above where I put that contour. Okay, so one of the things that, but I guess that's enough. I don't know how to do liquid or cream blushes, and I just used one that's like a stamper thing. And whenever I put it on my face, I like couldn't get it to blend out. And then I just, okay, so I had too much squeezed out and it just like completely went inside the tube and like this like packaging, like the lid thing. So be careful of that. I'm going to go in with the bottom of my Beauty Blender and stamp that out. I think this is what I used for my bronzer. I legit can't remember. But I'm going to go in with this and we'll try it out. But I went in with one that's like a stamper, like it stamps like a heart shape, but then like I blend it out. I feel like you could let it dry and then it would just be like a heart, which is really cute, but I'm just like, this is, I don't want to do that. But this I don't feel like is doing a whole lot for me. I can see some of a glow, but I'm not quite getting like a shade. Like I can see a little bit right here, but like down here, I'm not really, it's not moving well. And I don't know, I'm kind of wanting it to move and it's not moving. Maybe it's better if it doesn't move, but then it's also like, well, then I have to stamp it where I want it. And that means I have to stamp it all the way. I like it all the way down my cheek. Like I want blush everywhere. So I don't know, but what was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, and the stamper, like I couldn't get it to like blend out, and then I like had massive blush and I was like, I don't know how to fix this blush, it's too much. I was like, I guess I'm just gonna be really blushy today because I don't know how to fix it. So I was really blushy that day, and I wore pink eyeshadow and pink lipstick to kind of like monochromatic everything, and it was intense. My nose is like major shiny today. I don't hate my nose, but I look like I got sunburnt and my nose has taken the brunt of everything. The blush, I think, could have been better. The blush is the only thing so far that I'm kind of like not really, I can see some color in my nose, but not much. Like that's one that I'm just like, you know, wouldn't be the worst thing if we just, I don't know. I don't see myself using it too often. And a lot of times if I don't like a product, I'm not going to use it. And then it ends up, sitting in my liquid cream product graveyard until it separates and I throw it away. Because I have some blushes in there that are starting to do that. And I'm like, oh, you didn't do enough to get me. And now you're getting thrown out because I don't like you now. Like, I feel bad because I hate that. Oh my gosh, I hate that this doesn't rip off? I think it might rip off. Okay, thank goodness. I hate when they put the stupid tape that goes all the way around and then it's hard to get off, especially when it has the shade on the sticker. I like having the sticker with the shade on there. And now it's all goopy and gross. Don't do this, please, brands. Okay. So it comes with a little puff and a cute little mirror. Hi, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and use the puff. This is what I've done anytime I did it with the L'Oreal Infallible, I think it's the Infallible powder foundation, was I just used the puff and I just went like this, and then I went like this, and then I just patted around that. So, because I like the maximum coverage. I don't like just using a brush and like dab, dab, dab. Oh, you put some powder on your face. No. I want to have a whole new face with these products. That's what they market them as, so that's what I want them to be. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's not what they're supposed to be, and I'm sure that's not quite, like, what they're going for, but that's what I'm going for, because, like, my mom used powder foundation a lot when I was growing up, and she would always apply it with a puff like this and just kind of, like, smear it on her face. So I kind of got into the habit of, like, that's how you apply powder foundation, is that you smear it on your face, and, like, I don't know. I feel like this is completely wiping away everything I've done on my face. Like, you can see the difference of, like, when I've, applied it to when I didn't. So you can see, like, what this looks like over here. We're going to do the forehead and see what the products look like underneath this. I feel like maybe if I don't go so hard, I won't cover up too much of the product underneath. But at the same time, like, I don't know. That's why I don't like doing a bunch of makeup, because you have to go so super intensely under the rest of it, and then like your makeup is covered by the makeup on top, and I just like I don't know. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the right side of my face compared to the left side. You can still see the bronzer poking through, but for the most part it completely got it covered up. And like another gripe that I have with doing this whole process is I just put on bronzer, concealer, or contour, concealer, and blush. And by the time that I get all of this product covering my face, I'm going to have to put powder product on top of it, which is exactly like, especially even when you do it with a liquid product, you still have to do that. And then I'm just like, you just wasted all of your liquid product to pack more powder product on top of it that like wasn't needed, but because you covered it with the foundation, you now need it. And I just don't see the logic behind that. And maybe you're trying to use up more of your makeup. I get it. Makeup expires really quickly. Like, mascara expires in 3 months. Are you kidding me? I can barely afford the mascaras that I'm buying sometimes. Like, when I get a nice mascara that's like worth some money, I want to use it, but I'm like, I like to filter through my mascaras, which means that I'm going to have that mascara longer than 3 months, which means that it's going to go bad long before I get at use out of it, like, and use it all up. And like, I like the way this looks, but like all of this product underneath is missing. And I just don't see the logic behind that. I can see the concealer, like, gets rid of all the imperfections. It like helps brighten and stuff. I can see the concealer. I can see that. But the rest of these products, I don't think I'll be using these in a combination like this. I really like the foundation. Sorry to make this more like a complaining video. I really like the foundation. I really like the way it's applying with this puff. I mean, I feel like this is the only time you'll ever see today's version of like makeup gurus, influencers, what have you, using a puff, because it was so 90s and like we hate it. We like rag on it all the time. But I feel like this is the only way you'll ever catch us using one. And a lot of times people don't even like to use the puff if they don't have to. I do have to say, I do have some hairs going on up here. I am getting my hair done next Friday, a week from today, weather permitting. And I'm seeing some texture here and I'm not liking that, so that's not great. But this is a powder, so I do have to remind myself that powder is going to bring out your texture. So if you're a very texturized person, I would steer clear of this because this is not going to be for you. I like the way it's sitting. It's not too heavy. It doesn't feel too harsh on my face or like I put too much on, even though I did stamp it on. I'm going to go in with my powder brush and just kind of like run it over the top just to kind of like smooth it out a little bit, maybe dust off some excess if there is any. I don't hate it, but I'm definitely more of a liquid powder, liquid foundation type person, but that's just my personal preference. Have you guys tried this foundation and do you like it? Because I'm curious to know. So I'm going to go in with another bronzer because I feel like that contour thing did nothing and I'm just kind of left dissatisfied now. So I'm going to go in with this Juvia's Place Bronze Light palette. It looks like this. I'm going to go in with, I believe, this shade because I'm just going to go bronzer instead of contour this time. And I'm just going to go in and do the perimeter of my face just to kind of bring some of that contour shade back up. I feel like that contour shade worked really well for my skin tone. But I oftentimes think a contour should bronze and a bronzer should contour, which is why I like bronzers and things like that. I have the Huda Beauty, I think it's the bronzer type thing. I have that and I do like it. I just don't use it much because, again, I don't like cream and liquid products. But that's just my personal preference. It's just too finicky and I just don't like a finicky makeup product. You know, it needs to work. Otherwise, you're just not going to get my attention. And I feel like I've been that way since Subculture. Subculture was a very, like, that is pretty much self-explanatory of how I feel. It's just like, I don't want to have to, like, do all this extra effort to make it look nice. It just needs to look nice. Okay, so I put the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush on just to kind of bring some blush back to my face. I didn't really even add too much. I don't know. On camera, it doesn't pop up quite as well as, like, in person does. I'm going to go in with the Catrice More Than a Glow highlighter in Supreme Rose Beam. I just went in and did my brows. I don't usually talk about what I use on my brows, but I feel like sometimes it's like helpful to know. I was using the ColourPop Brow Boss pencil, retractable pencil in the shade Brunette. And my favorite brow product is the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara. This is in the shade, I believe, yeah, Brunette as well. This is what I use to go on top of any kind of like pencil or anything that I use. I like the ColourPop one. I feel like it works really well. It's very nice and creamy. It's a good shade for me. So I just went in with that one. I just usually grab whatever's on top and just go with it because it works. So it's not, like, I just check it to make sure it's not something that shouldn't be on top. But for the most part, it will work for me. So I'm going to go in with the Milani eyeshadow primer. I recently switched back to the Milani eyeshadow primer. And I got this because somebody in high school recommended it to me. And then when I started watching, Emily Noel 83 here on YouTube, check her out, she's amazing. When I started watching her, this is like the only eyeshadow primer she will use pretty much. Like, she uses a couple others, but this is like her go-to. Like, she always goes back to it because it's so good. She recommends it all the time, like any drugstore video, and she even says it's better than high-end. So I like trust her opinion, obviously. So I kind of like, I've been using this one forever. I've tried to use different ones and just hadn't had any luck. I haven't really wanted to go expensive with it because, like, why would I want to waste my money on a good eyeshadow primer when this one's only $10? And I already have some. I have two of them. I have a backup and then I have this one. And I had recently tried out the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. It has some dust on it, which is not good. But I had recently tried this one out. It's in a nice little pot. But the problem is, if you can see what it looks like here, I bet if I, like, shake it hard enough, it'll fall right out. It got dry. And I was kind of wondering if it was showing up. Oh, this is in the shade Cream, just because I know they have different shades, just in case you wanted to know. But I realized that it was not giving me any kind of coverage on my eyes. And then it got me thinking, is this actually working? Am I even, like, doing anything to my eyes? And then I was, like, freaking out thinking, am I actually doing anything to my eyes? Like, am I ruining every eyeshadow look and making it, like, my eyes get very oily. Eyelids tend to do that. That's why they don't like you to use concealer on your eyes, because the concealer, like, just adds to that oil. And it doesn't help, like, the oils, like, stay away. It just helps them break down stuff faster. And I found that all my eyeshadow was just going up into my crease. By the end of the day, I didn't look like I was even wearing eyeshadow. Like, the look I had for the day was just gone. And I was like, this is not right. And I was just like, I'm fed up with this. I was like, I need to fix this. And I was like, I don't think the Milani primer did this to me. So I switched back, and I'm thinking the e.l.f. one is just too dry. It worked really well when I first got it, but then it, like, dried up really quickly. And I think that's kind of the problem, which sucks about a good product like that. Like, I know it's affordable. It's like $4 to $6 roughly, but I'm not going to keep buying one every couple weeks because it dries out on me so fast. Like, it's not worth it. Like, I'm wasting so much money that way. But yeah, I really like it. It just, like, it can't do it for me like I need it to. So for eyeshadow palette, we have one that's recently new to me, but hasn't been new, like, in the beauty space. It's been out for a while, and I kind of, like, couldn't find it. Then whenever I did, I was just like, I don't know that I want to get it. And I'm still kind of on the fence about the eyeshadow palettes from this brand. It is the Wet n Wild Always Naked palette, and it looks like this. I really like these shadows, and I really like the whole, like, nudeness to it. Speaks to me very well. And if you know color theory, apparently oranges and browns look really good with blue eyes. So no wonder I like neutrals, because they just look good on me. I just feel like they look good on me. I kind of, like, steered clear of buying any kind of palette from Wet n Wild for a while, because I just didn't want to waste my money to, like, get disappointed, get a product that wasn't really going to do anything for me, and it would just sit in my collection until I got rid of it. So then I saw this palette had come out, and I was kind of interested in it, but then I was like, you know, again, Wet n Wild has let me down before. I don't want to be let down again. I don't want to waste my money when I don't have to. But then everybody kept raving about it. I think Jessica Braun talked about it. So I was just like, you know, I think I just need to go and get it and just try it out. And I can always decide if I don't like it or not. Like, at least then I'll know. Well, I got it, and I actually really like it. I think the formula is really nice. I don't think it's, like, the best formula, but I think it's a pretty good formula. Like, I don't hate it. So that's pretty good, I guess. I don't hate it. So I've been really liking using this one. I've been using it here and there. I do have favorites, like, beyond this one, but for the most part, this is a really good palette. So if you're in the mood for one that's, like, under $10, I don't know how much this was, but I think it was around the $10 range. That's typically how Wet n Wild works. I got it at Walmart, so if that says anything. Walmart's usually, like, somewhat cheaper, but the only thing that I have to say, though, you know me, I'm a CVS girl. Walmart products tend to be underpriced because you don't use coupons. You don't get coupons. Very rarely do they ever have coupons even around those items. So where I could get something at CVS for free, I have to pay for it at Walmart because there's no coupons. So that's kind of my only, like, gripe there. So I'm going to go in with something a little bit lighter, and I'm actually going to put that on the middle part of my lid and just kind of blend it out into that deeper shade. Okay, so now we have the lid kind of, like, neutralized with, like, a nice little brown. I'm going to go in with a shimmer. I think I'm going to go in with a cute little, like, brownie taupey looking shade. And we're going to just apply that from, like, the inner part of the lid and just kind of go out. That's usually how I do my looks. It's just kind of, like, spread it out a little bit. Just kind of, like, pack it on so it just looks a little bit more, like, oomphed, you know? It looks a little more poppy. This is a look that I would definitely wear to work. It's something that's like nice and subtle, but still like gives you a little bit of a pop. It just kind of looks a little like, it's a little dressier than just your typical like one eyeshadow look, which I feel like a lot of people, especially like tends to be older people who don't really know about YouTube, don't know how to apply makeup properly, have used the same technique since they were a teenager back in the 80s, 90s, what have you, that they sometimes tend to do just a one eyeshadow, or like they'll pick an eyeshadow that doesn't match their eye color well and just go with it. And I've learned through all of the TikToks and Reels and YouTube videos I've watched throughout the years that color theory is incredibly important when it comes to makeup application. That if you want your look to look nice, you have to know what works well for you. Otherwise, it's not going to work well for you. And that's the thing that people quite don't understand, is that they just think I can apply any color to my eyelid, I was gonna say eyeball, and that's not right, but you can apply any product on there and oh, it's gonna look great. No, that's not how that works. I thought that's how that worked, and I kept trying to make blue work. I slowly learned blue is not a good color to match my eyes. You'd think it would be because I have blue eyes, but look how nice and poppy this orange looks. Look how nice my eyes look. I mean, I do have a ring light behind the camera, but like, look how nice and bright they look. And if I were to do a blue look, it would kind of swallow my eyes up and just make everything like bluey, I don't know how to quite explain it, but like, you always want to do a color that's going to like go well with your eye and not a color that's going to like mask your eye essentially. And I feel like a lot of older people don't understand that concept. So then they end up just putting on whatever they like and whatever's pretty. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like it's the same concept as like clothes. Just because you like it on a mannequin and you think it's cute, is it actually going to go well on you? Is it going to look nice? Is it going to fit nice? Is it going to like sit nice on your body? Is it going to be like a nice color comparison to your face and like your features? No, not always. And I feel like that's where, you know what I mean? Like I've seen people, like people that I know in public, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your shirt. I would never wear that. Like I could never pull that off, but it looks really nice on you, which kind of sucks. And honestly, it's like legit, like heartbreaking if you think about that like there's a lot of things you can't do and take advantage of and like participate in because they just don't look nice on you. So I do have to say this eyeshadow palette does have a lot of fallout. You can see all of that shimmery glitter right there. That shade is more of a chunky shimmer. It's not a glitter by any means, but it's definitely one that like, it's this shade right here. It like is losing a lot just on my tissue here. I have a lot of fallout on that tissue, which is kind of not great. I don't like to see that because like I understand fallout happens, especially like on your face with a shimmer, but in a product like that where you go to dig in and it just instantly like messes up that whole pan because it's too much of a soft shadow, I guess, like a soft whatever formula. I don't like that so much because that just kind of like, I don't know. It makes the palette like last longer, I guess, because you're using so much, because you're digging so much up out of it. I like the way my eyes look. They look a little plain and boring, so I'm kind of like not real, I don't know. I feel a little like, about it. I don't know. Can I fix it up? That palette's not going to do it. I just trapped a hair in there. That's nice. My hair's like magnetized to things like that. And it's like, you don't need to do that. I have the Be Bella I'm Snow Cute palette. I picked it up right around Christmas time. It's really cute. I really like it. I'm going to go in with Stuntin' on Ice. It's a really nice white shade. And I'm just going to put that right on my inner corner and kind of blend it out a little bit. And then I'm going to put it under my eyebrow. Okay, I feel like that looks a little better, but I'm still kind of like, it's very monochromatic and whatever. It's just on me. That's on me. So for mascara, we have a mascara that I'm kind of a little like about. If you know me, you know that the Profusion mascara that's in like sort of a squarish, just plain black tube is one of the top 5 worst mascaras I've ever put on my lashes. I hated it so much. It was goopy from the second I pulled the wand out of the tube. And like there was no separation in the lashes because the product was so goopy within the lashes. I hated it so much. But I thought I'd give Profusion another try. And I have the Faux Lashes Mascara in the shade Black. It looks like this. Packaging totally got me. And we will see if this is actually worth using. It looked really nice on the packaging. I wish I would have kept it, but I like took it out because like sometimes it saves time by taking things out of packaging than sitting here fumbling with it and trying to figure it out. If you know, you know. This sticker is falling off, so that's not great. That's nice that like it's not staying. They didn't even put it on right. It's like off center, so it's not going to stay on. It looks like this. It's a very cone-shaped wand. It kind of reminds me of the Essence Lash Princess Green Tube Mascara that has the cone shape that's supposed to give you more volume than curl. So if you like curl, this is not the mascara for you. If you like volume, this is the mascara for you. Unless it doesn't work, but we'll find out. So I'm going to go ahead and just start applying it to my lashes. I'm going to go in with 2 to 3 coats, which is what I normally do. I just kind of like go back and forth between lashes and just see what happens. Okay, this is what one application looks like. This eye didn't quite get as like nice and juicy as I wanted it to, but honestly, that's probably just my lashes. I think this applies really nicely on the first coat. There's not a whole lot of product on the applicator, which is nice, but I feel like I might have to dip back in again to try and like rejuvenate the lashes for a second go round, but we'll see where we go from there, and then I'll come back and show you the final application. Okay, this is what my eyelashes are going to look like for the rest of the day. Here are my thoughts. I don't hate this mascara. I'm literally in shock. This is how I felt about the LA Colors mascara I recently tried in a previous new makeup try-on video. It applied a really nice bit of like volume to my lashes, and I like volume because I like seeing that the lashes are long. I mean, the curl is nice, but I feel like the volume is what gets me and what I really like about it. I wasn't sure if there was still any product on the applicator, so I did my lower lash line, and there was still some. It's not quite as poppy on my lower lash line as I would like, but I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not mad about it. But this is what it looks like after applying like 2 to 3 coats. I really like this, and I'm actually really surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really surprised. I've been trying to get into more mascaras and like try new things. So I'm very like excited that most of them have been pretty good. We are going to go in with the L'Oreal Lumi Shake and Glow Dew Mist as my setting spray for the day, because I feel like with a powder, I kind of want to be able to like bring something out a little bit and try and like help it glow a little bit. This is what the finished look looks like. Yeah, the finished look looks like. I don't know how to rephrase that to sound a little not weird. Went in with the Color Stay Suede ink in No Rules Suede Suede. I don't know how you pronounce that. I thought it might be a little pinkier. I don't know what I was going for lip-wise, but this is the lip we have, and I think it kind of goes well with the eyes. I don't know. What do you think? I really think all of these products worked really well. The only one I just didn't like was the blush from Milani. I just didn't feel like it like brought me anything. I think I'm going to need to try it on top of a liquid foundation with all of that already done instead of covering it up with a powder, because I feel like that kind of hindered it, and I feel like I didn't quite get to give it a good chance. But at the same time, like, it didn't really show up before I covered it up, so why was it going to show up after that? But other than that, everything is actually really nice. I think the foundation doesn't look too cakey on my face. It doesn't look too, like, powdery, but I do have foundation. I do have oily skin, so this will probably wear really nice throughout the day. So if you have oily skin, I definitely say to check this out. We'll see how this goes. I don't think I'm going to be doing a wear test on it today, but I'll let you guys know if I hated it or not. I'll probably put it in like the comments or something. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload my next video. Stay tuned for that one, guys, and I will see you then. Bye.